It's the Fellowship of the Geek Show, a weekly podcast about comics, the comic book industry, and other geek pop culture. Music courtesy of Manny the Martyr. And now, on with the show!
Hey everybody, it's the Fellowship of the Geeks podcast. My name is Thomas Chick, and joining me for this episode is Mike Marlowe.
Hey gang.
Les Webster.
Hello.
And Liz Newman.
Hello everybody.
How are you guys doing?
Peachy keen.
Yep, doing great.
Correct.
That sounded so convincing.
That was so convincing, yes. Hope everybody out there is doing okay. So, what's been going on in your corner of the galaxy?
Well, this week I got another cheat week. Because, again, I'm waiting for this stressful time in my life to go away. Because it once again kept me from writing reviews last week for the website. So, real quick the two I had narrowed it down to are actually both image titles. The first one was Analog #1, which is a fun little story about a guy named Jack McGinnis. And this story is set in 2024, and Jack is an armed courier. And he has a very interesting life for a list of reasons. And I'm not going to spoil anything here. It's a nice, fun, dark, crime-ish story. So it's definitely worth checking out. The other one, I'm not 100% sure how it should be pronounced, so I'm going to say Isola #1. This is a fantasy adventure. A woman named Rook is captain of the Royal Guard, and she has been forced to escape the palace with the queen, who has been transformed into a tiger. And her job now is to A, survive, and B, find a way to reverse the spell that has transformed the queen. And it's Rook is a very interesting character, so it seems to be a pretty cool setting. So very fun. Check it out. Sorry I didn't get my reviews written again.
Understandable.
Yeah, weird stuff. We'll get past it, though.
We shall overcome.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. How about you, Liz?
I didn't get a lot done this week. I've just been busy with, I guess, work, and I haven't had a lot of reading time. I've been catching up on my TV shows, and I realized, do you guys know that since the last time I told you guys that I probably wouldn't watch The Walking Dead anymore, I haven't watched The Walking Dead again?
Oh, wow.
So,
I know, I didn't believe you.
Yeah, I'm like
Well,
6 episodes behind on that, so I guess they killed my heart.
Wow.
What is this Walking Dead you're talking about?
Right? You know, it's a new TV show.
Walking who?
But yeah, so just kind of catching up on life. So maybe next week I'll have some really interesting stuff to talk about.
Okay.
Oh, but I did watch, kind of out of the wheelhouse here, I did watch a thing on Mr. Rogers. And I have to say, PBS has been running it like every other week. And it's something about You Are My Neighbor or something like that. Really interesting look into his life and outside of the kids show. And I guess I really can't say outside of the kids show because his life was the kids show. That's the way he really was and who he, how he was. So if you haven't seen that, you definitely need to check that out.
I have been hearing about that online, and yeah, I'm curious.
It's good. There's some of the stories that real account stories that people had, interactions with him and things. Some of them just make you cry, He was a very diverse person during a time when diversity wasn't very popular, and he was definitely the kind of person who didn't see you for the outside. He definitely saw you for your inside, So
He had X-ray vision?
he did. He was better than Superman.
Sweet.
But the way that the things he knew about people, it was almost like he did,
Right.
So
And the way he treated people.
Mm-hmm. And lived by, treat others the way you want them to treat you. No matter who they are, color they are, who they're with,
Cool. An awesome role model.
Very.
Yeah,
And
I want to see that one.
And still continues to influence some of the children's programming that's out today. I didn't notice until a couple of days ago. There's a thing called Daniel's Tiger, and I got to watching it. I know it's a cartoon, it's a kid's show, but I got to watching it, and it's actually the tiger from where he would go into the land of make-believe. The little tiger he would talk to on the trolley and that kind of thing. They made a whole cartoon around him.
Oh, cool.
So it's kind of like, wow.
It's a spin-off.
Right. So this generation is actually still getting a piece of him, which I thought was very sweet.
Very cool.
That does sound cool.
Nice. Yeah, I want to see this documentary so bad.
And I have picked up one of the novels from the Myth series. This one was done in 2010, Dragon and Steel, and I've always enjoyed these books. I highly recommend this series because Robert Asprin and Jody Lynn and I assists with this book, but these people come up with the most inane puns ever. The Cincinnati Kid is one of them. And they do such a
one. I remember that one. I picked these up in college, so yeah, I've read them before too.
They are just so much fun, yet there is a message in there. These are the people that, if I recall, do not use the word says or said in their novels. There is no, they went for a long time without using the term said. And I thought, now that is pretty damn unique. That's difficult to do. And they would use, obviously they would use other verbiage to get the point across. But it's almost like you want to go through there and make sure they don't use said. And normally you are disappointed if they do use it. It's just not, it's not there. But once again, I say, read this series. It is a lot of fun.
Yep, they're very clever. And they're also not terribly long books, so they're kind of easy to consume, I guess is the best word I can think of for it. They go down easy.
Yes, very.
And they're very entertaining.
Cool. For me, I picked up a new trade, and this is one of them that was where my picks from a previous episode. It was it's Batman: The Dark Knight Detective, Volume 1, and this covers a lot of the detective issues 568 through 574 and 579 through 582. And going back and reading some of this again, it dawned on me a lot of these stories, which was written by Mike W. Barr and art by Alan Davis and Paul Neary, how they invoked the 60s Batman Robin without it was the fun and the adventure, and it was the color, but not necessarily the wacky, and certainly not like the humor of the show. But it was kind of cool to actually go back, and this is done back in the mid-late 80s, to kind of go back and read these and kind of get nostalgic for that period of time. I mean, even there's one whole issue that I can recall where Batman kept calling Robin chum. And it's just like, okay, yeah, I see what y'all are doing. But it was fun. It was a fun read. And considering one of the big stories in this collection involved Catwoman and Joker, I assume that the timing of this coming out has something to do with what's going on in the regular books right now. So, but it was a fun read. It was kind of cool to go back and check some of that out.
Batman's always good. No bias or anything.
No, of course not.
Well, and I love Alan Davis's art. There's just something about it that just it's a nice clean look, and it's like I said, it kind of takes me back to a simpler time, but it obviously the stories he's writing are not all that simple. There's usually a lot of stuff going on and can be kind of complex. Just read any of the Captain Britain and Excalibur stuff. Just right off the top of my head. But it was great. It was a nice little trip back.
I find it interesting that you choose a nostalgic book which was actually written as a nostalgic book.
Right.
A book from the 80s which is a throwback to the 60s. That's a little throwbackception there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mike W. Barr is not unknown to mystery writers.
Right.
And that's what makes those stories so good. He actually went back and said, this is a detective comic book, and we're going to solve crimes. That's what I enjoy about it, too.
So he came in as an accomplished mystery writer. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a great idea right there.
Okay. Before we get into this week's topic, I'd like to take a couple of moments and thank our fine sponsors, the fine folks from Things from Another World, for supporting the Fellowship. And one of the specials they are running right now is free shipping on orders of $40 or more on in-stock comics and graphic novels. Now, this is good through May 31st, and this is being run in conjunction with their normal deals, which are 40% off comics, statues, toys, and merchandise, 30% off pre-order manga titles, and 50% off Nick and Dent comics. Now, to learn more about this special deal and how you can take advantage of this free shipping, what we recommend is go to our website. That's www.thefellowshipofthegeeks.net, and click on our sponsors tab. And there you'll see all the information regarding their current deals, and especially the free shipping and how you can be a part of that. There will also be some links there where you can take you to Things from Another World's website and lets them know that we sent you their way. So you ought to go check them out once you get through listening to our show. And thank you, Things from Another World. All right. For this week, I'm not sure exactly where I got the idea. Probably just seen some of the crossovers that have been going on between publishers the last few years. And one thing I noticed that Valiant has not been a part of this. They've been pretty much isolated into their own universe. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But I thought, well, it would be cool to see some of these characters interact with other characters from other publishers. So what I thought we would do is just kind of put together our little team-ups from take a character or even two. I didn't really put any kind of conditions to our team-ups. And team them up with another character or two from another publisher. So this ought to be fun. So who would like to go with one of their choices?
Let me step up.
Woo.
Okay.
Looking at some of the characters from Valiant, and I'm mainly looking at the first time Valiant appeared. I was looking at Ray. That was one of my favorites from Valiant. And I looked at that and I kind of said that Ray would fit in with the New Gods from DC and be able to contend with them. You've got a character that is, let's see, he's led by an artificial intelligence, which is called Father. The New Gods are led by a father, but they're all, the intelligence is more or less the boombox. The world below him is ravaged, and to me that would also go to the world of Darkseid, and I just can see that there's a possibility where the two groups would contend with saving the world, the ravaged world. Although Apocalypse is not something that Darkseid wants saved, but I could see these characters being the group to step forward.
Okay, that was interesting.
That is a cool idea.
Yeah, definitely. Who would like to go next?
Well, I don't know a lot of the Valiant characters. I don't read a lot of them, so I had a lot of fun researching this because I found a lot of new stuff I do want to read. But coming across Generation Zero, I thought Titan from there would fit in real good with Teen Titans, more notably taking some expertise from like Nightwing on how to control your anger and your temper and, you know, maybe help him control this monster that he has. So, yeah, like I said, kind of their Teen Titans with our Teen Titans kind of thing. You know, might be interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yep. Sounds like there could be lots of stuff to learn on either side. So.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay, Mikey.
All right. So the first place my brain went with this was one of the most popular characters out there, because I just knew somebody and I wasn't going to be surprised if everybody didn't pick Batman at some point in this process. But so for some reason that was the first place my brain went, and so I decided, okay, so if I'm going to team someone up from Valiant with Batman, I have to ask myself, am I going to go the competitive route, or am I going to go the smartass route? And this is me we're talking about, so obviously I went the smartass route.
Right.
Surprise.
The person I teamed Batman up with was Armstrong. Because I can't imagine. I was having a lot of fun imagining the face palming that Batman would be doing just around whatever Aram decided to do at any given time, because he's just so chaotic at times and just so fun-loving, and Batman is so not those things. And so I went for the contrast, and I couldn't think of a better one than Armstrong.
No, that works. That worked perfect.
I just think it would be hilarious.
And it's funny that you say that, because I'm going to cheat and have basically two for one. Because I thought of Archer and Armstrong, but I thought about them teaming up with Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. Because I could think about all the zaniness would go on between those four. Although Archer would be the one going, what's going on here?
He's usually doing that, but he's also kicking ass at the same time, so it's fine.
That's true, yeah.
He doesn't seem to mind not really knowing what's going on.
But I also thought about teaming up with Blue Beetle and Booster Gold would be the other duo from Valiant, which is Quantum and Woody. And you talk about face palming. Quantum would be doing that the entire time.
He does that with just Woody, so yeah.
Yes.
It would,
yes.
With,
So it's
with
double face palm here.
Right, with Booster and Beetle, there's no way. His palm would pretty much be surgically attached to his face at that point.
That's right.
That would be,
but,
either way, that would be cool. That would be fun.
Yeah, I can just imagine the fun any writer would have handling those four characters, or well, depending on what team ups you want to do. But I could see that being a blast.
Totally.
Cool.
Alrighty, who'd like to go next? Les?
There's a character in Valiant now called Savage. And Savage is the idea of man of the past. He is trying to survive after he and his wife have disappeared without a trace. Their private jet crash landed on a mysterious unknown island ruled by prehistoric creatures. And here I'm seeing him pairing with Khazar or with crew from the war that time forgot. And in one case it's a survival. With Khazar it's a survival. With the other it's pure war. Let's see how many dinosaurs we can take out. And that even brings up what is the Death Dinosaur? From Marvel?
Devil Dinosaur? Yeah.
Devil Dinosaur.
Dr. Dinosaur from Robo?
Well, you could do that too. There you go.
Yes, to give it a comic flair. But that's the direction I was looking at that too.
That's an interesting one. I had forgotten about Savage, and you could actually go another route and have the crash land on Skitaris and be dealing with Warlord.
True. Yeah.
You can go that route too. That would be awesome. That's that. I like that one a lot. Yeah. Very cool. Alrighty, Liz.
Well, I went the more supernatural route with this next one. I put Shadow Man with DC's, not Vertigo's, John Constantine. I thought between the two, since they both have that occult, mystic, I wouldn't call it a power. I don't think John Constantine has a power. He's just, what's the word I'm looking for, hyper elevated to that kind of thing, you know. So I thought it would be kind of neat for them to head down to New Orleans and kind of solve some of the, not evil, but I guess they call it ghost mysteries down through there. The voodoo mysteries.
Could be fun.
Yeah, could be.
Okay, and let's think about a couple of other venues. Of course, you got Doctor Strange in there.
Yeah.
A Doctor Fate, to me, would also fit.
Yep.
Could be interesting. Pretty much any. You could almost list any magician or wizard or witch or whatever that came out of any.
Yeah.
Would be fun.
See, I was thinking of his origin with Swamp Thing and how he kind of guided him. So that's what led me to Shadow Man.
Sure. Okay. Cool.
If you want to throw one other fun twist into that, Zombie Tramp
And
Shadow Man.
There you go.
Yeah.
If we want to jump off of DC for a bit.
There you go.
And who's going to do the covers for this series?
For Shadow Man and Constantine, I would get.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
He's not interested in the covers for Constantine. Come on now. Let's be realistic.
I am. Oh, for Zombie Tramp, huh?
If we're talking all-star, pick any name you want. Let's go with Boris Vallejo.
Okay.
And you know there would at least be like 8 covers and the scratch variant to that. So 7 more guys. Who are they?
Oh God. No, I didn't write those down. That's not in my notes.
No, either.
Yeah, I didn't go that far.
I think that's a no mas.
Yeah, I picked a scratch variant.
As long as it's not a scratch and sniff variant, we're good.
Whoa.
Anyway, so my next pick. I gotta get out of this hole.
Yep.
Whew. Okay, so another one of my favorite Valiant characters recently has been Livewire. Her abilities are just, I don't know, I find them cool. Especially in this world that we are in now, which is so technologically based anyway. And a group that I thought she would be an interesting fit for was the Birds of Prey. And I think I was leaning kind of towards early Birds of Prey with like Oracle and such. I thought that she and Oracle would be a really interesting pairing.
Yeah.
Really
It would
interesting
be.
to run with that, and so that, I mean, Livewire could use her abilities to amplify Oracle to an extent.
Right.
You know, I almost picked Livewire, but I didn't think of Oracle to put her with. That's really good pairing there.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
I do too.
Okay. For my next one, I went with Eternal Warrior, and I teamed them up with Wolverine. And the reason why, because they have, I think they would have mutual respect for each other, because they've had long lives, they've seen a lot of war, they've done things that they've regretted, and I think there'd be mutual respect between the two of them, and I think it would be a really cool story to see them together.
In all honesty, I thought about this myself. The reason I didn't write it down is honestly is because I thought they were a little too similar. I thought it would be, you could make an interesting story out of the two of them together doing something, but I don't know if you could pull it off repeatedly, because I think they're a little too similar. But
yeah,
yes, there could be a really good story in that.
Right.
But beyond that, because I'm kind of a fan of the Eternal Warrior anyway.
Right, I am too.
And Wolverine too. Not to belittle Wolverine. I mean, shit, who in their right mind could do that? But yeah, that's the only reason that didn't make this list for me.
And I really am wishing we had a new Eternal Warrior series going right now. It seems like we haven't had one in a while.
It's been a bit, so hopefully there's something coming soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I hope so too. Alrighty. Les, you have another one?
Well, you guys would have to help me with this one.
Okay.
If this is possible. Is Bloodshot something similar to Deathstroke? Is Bloodshot not necessarily a mercenary, but somebody that would be a gun for hire?
See, here I have always kind of paralleled Bloodshot more with Wolverine in his own way.
Okay.
And I think that's a lot, mostly because of there's the combination of the powers that the nanites give him, and then the whole identity issue. Because, I mean, for a long time, Wolverine had no idea who he really was. And Bloodshot's kind of the same way.
Okay.
So, I mean, he could be a gun for hire, but I don't think especially more recently, I don't think he would go that route. Would make an interesting, I think that would be an interesting pairing, though.
Yeah.
With Deathstroke. I mean, I'm not super duper familiar with Deathstroke, but I mean, if you're talking gun for hire, I think there would be. I think you'd have some interesting conversations between the two.
Well, you could do it where Bloodshot is forced to do a gun for hire job, something like that.
Right. Project Rising Spirit pops up and grabs the joystick that controls him and starts making him do stuff. And
true.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's teamed up with Deathstroke and is basically is doing all the stuff to finish the job physically, and is trying to talk Deathstroke out of doing it at the same time. That sort of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's obviously wrong. That could be fun.
Yeah, it could be, definitely. I like that. Okay, Liz?
I don't have a third one.
Okay, that's fine. That's all right. Mikey,
Although I will say through the research, I want to read more of Flamingo. We could put her with Firestorm.
How is that
is
not
that
a third
too much
one?
of the same? Yeah.
How is that not a third one? Come on now.
Is that a good pairing, or? I thought they were too similar, so I didn't really think it would be a good pairing for the two.
No.
It's like you were saying about the other one.
Well, I mean, but
after a while,
they have different backgrounds too, though, right? I mean, Firestar's a. Did you say Firestar? What'd you say?
Firestorm. Firestorm.
Okay, maybe. Yeah, I'm sure they could find. I mean, like I said, when you get characters that are similar, you can still get one good story out of them.
Yeah.
Because
maybe
they're different
shot.
personalities. Yeah. Just because, I mean, they're different people. And so, I mean, you're setting them up for a really simple compare and contrast backgrounds type thing, or character personality, that sort of thing. But, yeah.
Or how two people are so much alike they can be so different.
Exactly. Right. Which is, like I said, the kind of thing you can't pull off a lot, but you can get one good story out of it.
See, there's your third choice.
There's my third, yep.
There you go.
There
you go.
Boom.
There you go.
Alrighty,
Mikey.
My turn again. Well, and I honestly don't think I could, and I'm almost surprised she hasn't come up yet. I don't think I could do this list without bringing up Faith at least once. And I have a couple of options with Faith, so I will hang on to one of them. I will pocket one.
Because you never know what I have.
Because I have no idea what you have, right? We have not seen each other's lists. I think Faith would be an interesting pairing with Green Lantern. If nothing else, I think there are some vague similarities in their powers, but not so much that it makes things boring. And I think the idea of intergalactic police type stuff, I mean, they're kind of, I mean, in a setting where the Green Lanterns are like the Texas Rangers of deep space, any one of them could show up and Faith would help them and would be geeking out a bit probably about the whole thing, because that's just who Faith is. If we wanted to get specific, I think Hal Jordan would probably be the best one to pair up with her, just because he's, I don't know, he's a wild card without being a total nut job like some of the later ones. He's a little less predictable, which I think would make things interesting. I think Faith would think that the ring was cool.
Now, I haven't, like I said, I'm not real familiar with Valiant, but isn't she kind of on a Justice League type team right now? Like, there's 5 or 6 of them together.
The last time we've seen her, she was back with the Harbingers.
There you go. Yeah.
Right. But that's real recent.
Yeah.
There was a Renegades or something like that, wasn't it?
Well, she had started out on a team and then quit that team and kind of did some stuff on her own for a while, and has now kind of gotten back on with a team again.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, Mike, what was your other choice with the Faith?
No. That's not how we're doing this. If you've got a Faith one, you throw it out first.
I've got a Faith one.
Okay, well, let's hear it.
I've got a couple of choices as well. But the one I picked, I'm going to go with now, is Wonder Woman.
I thought about this for a little bit.
Because, as you said about with the Green Lantern, I could see her definitely just going fangirl all over Wonder Woman, but I could see Wonder Woman turn around being just as impressed and encouraging to her, and I can see them work well together.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see that being a really nice story, and I could see them team up several times. I think it would work out real well.
Yeah.
Was that your other pick?
No.
Okay. Who was it?
My other pick was a little less serious.
Okay.
My other pick was Nightwing.
Okay.
And my thinking there was that she would be drooling, but for a totally different reason. She would take the Gail Simone attitude towards Nightwing, which is basically all about his butt.
All about the butt.
And
yeah.
she would just be floating along behind him everywhere he went.
It's not just Gail, it's Nicola Scott, and God knows who else.
Oh, yeah, it's not just, but she's one of the more vocal ones about it. But yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it would be, oh, God, he's so dreamy. And I think you could just have fun with that.
Yeah, that could be a blast. I like that one a lot.
I mean, I did throw Nightwing in my picks, You
did. You brought him up early, and so yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's awesome.
It is.
Great team ups all the way around. Now we need to get to make these happen.
Right, now we need to start talking to writers.
Yep.
And Valiant.
There we go.
Oh, hey, Valiant's got a new editor now, so maybe we could get in there.
Yeah, he's actually following me on Twitter, so maybe I can go, hey.
Tag him.
Yep. Definitely will.
It's a thought.
Hashtag Valiant Dude.
Yeah, congratulations to Joseph Ilyich, who I just mentioned a couple weeks ago being editor for Lineforge. He's now the executive editor?
I believe it was executive editor for
Valiant. So, congrats to him, and I'm excited to see what he's going to be a part of. Alrighty. With that, we will take a quick break and come back with our weekly picks. And we're back, but unfortunately we are one man short as we lost Les to technical difficulties. He apologizes, but he'll be back with us next week.
Less.
We're lessless. There you go. There's our title. We are lessless. Wow. So, weekly picks, and I lead off this week. And so for my first choice, keeping up with what we were discussing last week and in the month, I'm going with Action Comics 1000 from DC Comics. Yay! With a cast of thousands, different, all new stories, including a story that was created out of unpublished art from Kurt Swan. I mean, the Superman artist. The story is that they found these pages of his art, and I don't remember who was given the task of trying to create a story, but this is going to be cool to see this.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm excited about this. Not the first comic book to reach 1,000, but it's the first
granddaddy
American.
of them all, really.
Huh?
It's the granddaddy of them all as far as American comics goes.
Yeah. So, alrighty, Liz, you're up next.
All right, my first one is coming out of Image Comics. It's Skyward #1. So the Earth has lost most of its gravity, so we can pretty much jump and fly and do all these kinds of neat things. And this girl, who it's about, she was born after this has all happened, so she doesn't miss it because she's never known it. Well, she stumbles onto a plot to bring gravity back, and of course now they want to kill her. So it should be a pretty good series. He said it's Skyward #1 out of Image Comics.
Of course they want to kill her.
Of course,
Wouldn't be any fun otherwise.
Nah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know why bringing gravity back would hurt people, but okay.
Well,
I guess we'll have to read the story to find out.
If she was born post gravity, then her body would never have had any relationship. She simply wouldn't have the muscle structure for it.
That's true.
She would probably, even just 1G would probably crush her to death.
I didn't think of it like that. Yeah, you're right.
Sorry, I
Good
didn't mean to get all
fillers.
scientific on you there, but yeah,
Thank you, Mr. Spock.
I'm gonna ruin
These
the
are
whole
comic books, damn it!
well, actually, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, Skyward #1.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm ready for that one too.
Pretty cool.
Alrighty, Mikey.
Okie dokie. So my first pick is a Dark Horse book, and this is a return. This is Black Hammer: Age of Doom #1. So this is the return of the Black Hammer series. Jeff Lemire and Dean Ormston and Dave Stewart. And I don't want to go into too much detail because this is in my opinion, and I mean take that for what it's worth. This is one of the best superhero books going out there right now. And yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with the big two. But this is it's a really cool mystery which involves superheroes and some very strange things going on. And I briefly, Lucy is the daughter of Black Hammer, and I'm going to leave the Black Hammer thing a mystery. I'm not going to explain the Black Hammer thing. But so Lucy essentially found the heroes, the surviving heroes, in the last arc. And so now she's kind of in the forefront here, and some stuff is going on, and this is going to be really fun. This, like I said, this is definitely a serious, dramatic series, and it's a very good one.
Very cool. Yeah, the Black Hammer universe is... what would be the right description?
It's got some darkness to it, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, I'm not sure I could just describe it briefly. It's
It is.
It's very,
yeah.
it's and I mean, there've been a couple, 2 or 3 arcs so far, and they've done a very good job of getting inside the heads of each of the surviving heroes. So you really get a good sense, just a wonderful sense of each of them and how all of this stuff that's going on with them has affected them. And it's, yeah, very deep stuff, really. Not surprising out of Lemire, but anyway, good stuff.
Yeah. Alrighty, I'm up again, and for my second choice, I'm turning toward Boom Studios, and it's Cyanide and Happiness, Guide to Parenting by 3 Guys with No Kids. If you're not familiar with Cyanide and Happiness, where have you been?
Certainly not on the internet.
Definitely. I laugh at these all the time, although some of the scripts are just so wrong.
They are. That's what makes them funny, though. You know.
But you can't help laughing at them. And yes, we've got a new volume, and I love these. They're great.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Definitely should be checked out.
Yep.
It's been a very successful webcomic for a long time.
Right.
It's 2005.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
It's older than AOL.
Lol.
Maybe
No.
not that old, but you know.
It's older than YouTube
There you go. And Facebook.
and Facebook. Yeah, no, AOL was around when we were in college. Hell.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Liz.
My second pick is Jeepers Creepers #1, coming out of Dynamite Comics. There is a grad student who is writing a dream thesis on myths of American history. So the more he starts researching this and he finds out that, hey, I may be onto something, there's a being, creature, whatever, that comes back every 23 years to feed. They don't know where. There's not like a certain, he doesn't like Chinese food. It doesn't matter. So he's trying to piece this together so he can figure out what the pattern is and maybe how he can stop it, or he may be the next barbecue dish. So that's Jeepers Creepers #1.
Barbecue, yum.
Barbecue mouse.
I'm not even going to ask where the hell that came from, but okay.
Yeah. Best to leave that alone.
But yeah, Jeepers Creepers that should be an interesting one, because there's been a bit of an interest lately in taking new looks at horror movies that came out some years ago, and so
Yeah.
a lot of them have been really good too. So a lot of have either been different interpretations or new stories, kind of in the same vein, or stuff like that. And so this will be fun to see how this one works out.
I almost forgot about the movie because when I first saw the title, Susie and the Banshees popped into my head. Even if you look at some of these covers, it's like that's Susie.
Lord, and I went all the way back to Billie Holiday. But anyway, that's just me.
Yeah.
Nope, there's been a couple of movies.
Yeah, a few movies.
Alrighty, Mikey.
Okie dokie. So my second pick is an IDW offering, and I'm going with Diablo House #4. Diablo House has been. My understanding is that this is 4 of 4, and the trade I believe comes out next month. But this has been a really fun horror. I hesitate to call it an anthology. It is not unlike, and I don't know if I should make comparisons like this, but this is not unlike the Image's Ice Cream Man series. It's very similar in style, except this is based on a house in California, and there's a caretaker of the house, and he's kind of a surfer dude, and then so he kind of intros the story for that issue, and there has been some fun. I almost want to call it throwback type horror stories, thrown back to the old classic horror style comics. It's been some fun stuff. So check this one out. Like I said, and the trade comes out in about a month.
It's cool.
Yep. And you also have our honorable mention this week.
I do, and this is one I am very much excited about, because this has been one of my favorite books, and I really wish it had come out more often. But that's the way it is. These tend to be like 50-page issues to begin with. So this is actually the volume 2 trade paperback for the Black Monday Murders, which is Jonathan Hickman and Tom Coker. This is just an amazing story. It does this interesting weave of banking, finance, and the history of those things, and the occult. And there's also, one of the main characters is an NYPD detective. So the whole thing he's been trying to solve a murder. And I won't go into too much detail because this is so layered that most of it wouldn't make sense if I tried. You really kind of have to experience this one, and it's one of those books that the story is just so deep and so cool and so weird, and the art is phenomenal in this book. It is just so pretty. This is one of those books. It's definitely a mature audiences type book, but oh my gosh, it is so good.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. I know Les is a big fan of this series.
Yep.
So
I think he blames me for getting him into it, honestly.
probably.
Which I'll take that. I'm okay with that.
Alrighty. Any special mentions or shout outs this week?
Just that today, the day that we're recording, is National Sibling Day. So, to my knotheads, I love them. They better be listening to this.
That'd be good, because I'm pretty sure mine's not. She don't care about this stuff.
I have a couple that might, Maybe I should promise dinner, and if they hear it,
There you go.
This
it's a
is
free
not,
lunch on me if you hear this.
This is not a bribe that we open up to all listeners, by the way. Just her siblings. It's cool.
Just my siblings. That's it.
Yep.
Okay.
And we kind of had the inadvertent one earlier with Joe Illidge and the Valiant thing. So
Yeah. Definitely.
again,
Congrats.
cool. Congrats to him.
Yeah. Yep. Congrats, and can't wait to see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. With that, we'll get into our regular shout outs. And first off is Maddie the Martyr, who supplies us with the music for our shows. You should definitely check them out. We'll have a link in our show notes to their EPs. Go listen to them. Thank you very much, guys. Secondly, the fine folks that make up Potter Family on Twitter for retweeting and spreading the word of the Fellowship. You guys should definitely check them out. If you're looking for a podcast, you don't know what you're looking for, just go to Twitter and do a search, #PotterFamily, and you'll find anything. I mean, and a lot of great people out there. We appreciate their support, as always. And finally, you, dear listener, thank you for downloading and listening to today's episode. We always appreciate your support, and we value your feedback. If you have a comment, question, suggestion, complaint, something you want to correct us on, we're open. We're willing to listen, and there's several ways you can contact us. First, you email at thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. Probably be the easiest way. Or you can contact us on the website. Just go to our About Us tab, and there's a contact form there. Just fill that out, and we'll get that. You can also follow us on our social media. We are on Facebook, The Fellowship of the Geeks. And obviously we're on Twitter at Fellowship Geeks. Feel free to follow us there. If you like to follow our personal Twitter accounts, you are welcome to. Mike is at Mikey Geek. Liz is at Newman_L. And I'm at Tom TC Geek. And wherever you download or listen to our episodes, whether it's through iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and Spotify, if you could, rate us through whatever system that they use. And if you have a couple extra moments, a review would be awesome. Thank you very much. Alrighty. Any final thoughts before we say goodbye?
Just thanks, everybody.
Yep. Thank you.
On behalf of Les, he'll be saying thank you very much for your support. And of course, I appreciate your support. Y'all have a good week. And until next time, read more comics and support your local stores.
We thank you for listening to the show. Comments, suggestions, and questions can be sent to email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. You can follow us on Facebook at The Fellowship of the Geeks and on Twitter at Fellowship Geeks. Until next time,